How to become the most energizing person in the room. Today, you're going to learn how to think, speak, and act like the most energizing people in the world. I'll also give you a 60-second daily energy workout that you can do to elevate your energy, as well as some great book recommendations and a ton of actionable tips. So I refer to this as elevated energy, which is three things: presence, posture, and positivity. This is also known sometimes as charisma, as executive presence. Uh, this is uh, this is one of the key components of leadership as well. I believe over 90% of your leadership is the energy you bring. I call this also true leadership energy. Now, the science behind this is Albert Moravian's 7-38-55 rule, which is a theory that seeks to quantify how much of meaning is communicated via verbal and nonverbal communication methods. And what Dr. Moravian concluded was that communication is 93% vocal tonality and body language. Now, this is tough to replicate. I give you this as a theory and it's something also that I've experienced empirically, in my subjective experience also, that a huge part of your leadership ability comes from the energy you bring, and then a smaller component, the words you say. Now, Jack Canfield, author of Success Principles, one of my all-time favorite books on success and high performance, he has what he calls attractive energy, and here's how he describes it. The more energy you are putting out in terms of appreciation, gratitude, joy, happiness, enthusiasm, certainty, and self confidence, that is what is going to be attractive. People want to be around people like that. Again, which I believe 100%. If you're showing up with a lot of presence, with a ton of positivity and joy, and also a ton of confidence, people want to be around that kind of energy, and they don't want to be around the inversion of that, which is negativity, low self-esteem, and also just being distracted or being on your phone or not being present to the moment. A great friend and mentor of mine, Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. Marshall's been given the award of number one business leadership thinker in the world, probably also the greatest executive coach of all time. Every day when he wakes up, he says it's showtime, meaning that every day we're on stage. And every day it's showtime. And we've got to bring this great energy to every interaction we have, both personally and professionally. Now, elevated energy, this true leadership energy, is an inside out job. It all starts with how we think, right? And that will translate to great body language, great tonality, and a great choice of words every day, and also great habits and actions. So I believe that maybe 1% of leaders really show up with this elevated energy. 1% of people in general show up with this elevated energy of presence, posture, positivity. Now, today I'm going to give you some nuclear weapons, okay? Some nuclear weapons of elevated energy, things that you can apply today, apply immediately as soon as you're done listening to this episode. So let's jump into that. Let's start with presence number one, okay? Mindset. A mindset of presence is to focus on your toes and give yourself a full body scan. I learned this from a book called The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox-Cabane, one of my all-time favorite books on leadership and charisma and energy. And essentially what she says is to be more present, focus on your toes. Okay, focus on your toes right now. What that does is it gives you a full body scan. It scans your whole body and you will instantly become more present just by focusing on your toes, the bottom of your feet. Now, here's some action steps in terms of presence, actions you can take. Take one mindful breath. Focus on your breath, even just for one breath. I love Dr. Jason Selk's 6-2-7 breath, where you breathe in for 6 seconds, hold for 2, out for 7. I also love 4-6 breathing. Dr. Eric Potterat talks about. He was a performance psychologist For the Navy SEALs for almost 2 decades. Breathing in for 4 seconds, out for six. That's a great one. But just take one mindful breath, and that really focuses you back on the present moment and allows you to focus on your breath and nothing else that's going on. Another great way to be present is strong eye contact. Make strong eye contact with the person that you're talking to. And that's really just showing them they've got your full attention, and it really forces you to give them your full attention. Um, a good friend and mentor of mine, Gannon Baker, he's trained I think 24 Hall of Fame pro basketball players in the WNBA and NBA. He trained Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and many others. And he says he's a great leadership expert as well, and he brings some of the greatest energy I've ever been around. The guy's just full of energy. And he says your presence is a present, meaning by being fully present with the person you're talking to, that's a gift you're giving them. Now, Olivia Fox Cabane also talks about how rare it is that someone is present. So you will make yourself stand out in a major way just by being fully present with the person you're talking to. Lastly, how to speak with presence. It's 90% listening. 90% listening, 10% talking. And when you're talking, you could just be asking questions and then listening. Right? So that's a great way to think about the gift of presence in terms of how you speak. The best leaders I've been around speak 10% and listen 90%, with rare exception. They're asking great questions, they're shutting up and listening. That's how you can really identify who that great leader is in the room, with rare exception. Okay, now sometimes they have to teach something or they have to give a speech, so they're speaking more, but overall they're listening way more than they talk. Okay, because they know what they know, they want to know what you know. And they also know that it's a gift, to listen to someone. So lastly, let's talk about the inversion, which means what to avoid, right, in terms of presence. And number one by far is being on your cell phone. Okay, that is the ultimate presence killer. So put your cell phone away. One study even said don't even have it on the table in front of you. Even having it on the table, even if you're not looking at it at all, creates a barrier between you and the other person in terms of communication. So put that cell phone completely out of sight and out of mind. Put it away and be fully present with the person in front of you. Okay, let's talk about number two, posture. Okay, this energy, this elevated energy of posture. Number one, here's in terms of mindset, recognize your strengths and what you're doing well. Right? Recognize your strengths and what you're doing well in your mind. Give yourself credit for what you're doing well. Dr. Nate Zinsser, another one of my favorite books on energy, confidence, leadership, is a book called The Confident Mind. And he describes has this tool, one of my favorite tools I've ever learned, called the IPR, Immediate Progress Review. So recognize what you've done in the last 5 minutes, the last hour well. Just take the time, take 10, 20 seconds to recognize all the things you've done well in the last hour. Again, this is a great way to elevate your posture. And when posture, you can use this term interchangeably with self-confidence. Okay, self-confidence, posture, that's interchangeable to me. Another action you could take is stand up straight with your shoulders back and take up space. Another great book on charisma, on leadership, The 7 Rules of Power by one of my great friends and mentors, Dr. Jeffrey Pfeffer out of Stanford. I believe he's the world's #1 expert on power. He's written 17 books on leadership and power. He's the best in the world. He knows the science inside and out. And, he talks about the importance of taking up space, standing up straight with your shoulders back. Another action step you could take, once again, is strong eye contact. That's great for confidence and posture. Another key action step you can take is slow down. Slow down your body movements, slow down your words. Okay, this conveys confidence and great posture. Okay, people who are fidgety, okay, or nervous, that is anti-confidence. That's anti-posture, anti-power. So you've got to avoid the fidgety stuff. You got to slow everything down. Another action step, this is from Nate Zinsser as well, in his great book, The Confident Mind, is creating a list of your top 10. Take 5 minutes and write down your 10 greatest hits in life. I have mine on my cell phone. I've got a whole list of dozens of things that I'm proud of, that I've accomplished in my life, that I review from time to time. Nate says narrow it down to your top 10 and put it on a list on your phone, make a poster out of it, and recognize your top 10 greatest hits in life. Again, great way to boost your self-confidence. Another great tool is the success log from a book called Relentless Solution Focus by a great friend and mentor of mine, Dr. Jason Selk. I believe he's the world's greatest performance psychologist. His book is Relentless Solution Focus. He's got an exercise that you can do daily called the success log, where you write down 3 things you've done well and 1 thing you need to do better. Okay, another great action step is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or mixed martial arts. Learn to defend yourself. I say get a minimum blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which can take anywhere from 6 to 18 months if you're training 2 to 3 days a week for an hour and a half. So do some mixed martial arts training, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training, some real self-defense training. Another great way to improve your posture, tactical strength and conditioning training. You can Google this. There's all kinds of great resources on tactical strength and conditioning. This is how a mixed martial artist, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner, a wrestler, a boxer, a police officer, a firefighter, active duty military. This is the type of strength and conditioning work they would do. Another great action step is to get a coach to tell you what you're doing well, what you need to do better, and also hold you accountable to you doing the most important things you need to do to improve on a daily, weekly basis. Nuclear weapon is to get a coach. Hire a great coach who can do all those three things I just described. Lastly, in terms of action steps, identify and complete your top most important tasks every day. 1, 2, or 3 most important things that you need to do to make progress, to improve, and achieve your most important goals. That's a great confidence booster. Now, in terms of speech, you want to speak strong and use strong and positive language and avoid weak language. Strong language is, I can do it, we can do this, let's go. Weak language is, I'll try to do it, I can't. Uh, Also, mindless negativity is weak language, gossiping, complaining, venting, condemning, blaming. So we want to avoid any weak language. We want to speak strong and speak positive. Uh, in terms of speech, especially for leadership, if you're in a leadership position or just to be a good person in any relationship in general, catch people doing things right. Give people sincere, specific praise. It's called the Pygmalion effect. It's a theory in psychology and there's some great studies on this that have been replicated. Originated by Dr. Robert Rosenthal. Pygmalion effect is our belief in others actually has a positive effect on their performance, particularly if we're in a leadership position such as a school teacher, a business leader, a parent of children, or a sports coach. Okay, now here's the inversion of this, what to avoid. Inversion, invert this, avoid weak language, like we talked about. Also, never show doubt and fear. If you're in a leadership position, you cannot show doubt and fear. You can have doubts and fears, but you can never show them. You've got to work through those before you get in front of the people you're leading, whether it's your children, if you're a parent, your players, if you're a coach, your employees, if you are a manager. You've got to work through your doubts and fears before you get in front of them. Again, it doesn't mean that you can't have doubts and fears. We all have them, but you have to work through them either on your own with tools from books, great books like Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Jason Selk, or work through it with your coach or your mentor or a therapist. Whatever you need, you've got to work through these things before you face your people. And lastly, don't give your power away with mindless negativity, gossiping, complaining, venting, condemning, blaming. Okay, number 3, positivity. Lastly, in terms of this true leadership energy, this elevated energy, how do we elevate our positivity? Number 1, in terms of mindset, practice gratitude. Very simple. Practice gratitude on a daily basis. Number 2 is mindset. In terms of mindset, is visualize a positive future. Now, in the book, The Confident Mind by Dr. Nate Zinsser, there's some great tools in terms of visualization. In Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Jason Selk, there's some great books, a great exercise called the mental workout that I personally do daily in terms of visualizing a positive future. In terms of mindset, mantras or affirmative statements that you practice every day. Some of my favorites are I can handle it by Dr. Susan Jeffers. The root of all fear is I can't handle it. The root of all self-confidence is I can handle it. Another great mantra is Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Jason Selk. Here's some action steps. Smile for 10 seconds. This is called embodied cognition, where it's a theory in psychology that our body and our body language actually has an effect on our mind, just like our mind has an effect on our body. So, smiling for 10 seconds can actually make us feel happier. Standing up straight with great posture and shoulders back and down can actually make us feel more confident. All right, so change our physiology. I call it fixing your physiology. Another action step, smile at a stranger. One of my all-time most important and favorite tools is to just smile at strangers. Okay, give positive energy to a stranger. And there's people out there that you walk by every day who really need that smile. They really need that positive energy. Another action step, 30 minutes of zone 2 cardio, 3 days a week. Dr. Jason Selk, we talked about many times already today, is huge on this in terms of mental performance and mental health. And there's all kinds of good studies that show that 30 minutes of zone 2 cardio, 3 days a week or more, has a tremendous effect on our mental performance, our mental health, our positivity. Before I do a seminar, before I give a training session to a team, that morning I'm going to do my 30 minutes of cardio, zone 2, at least 30 minutes. Zone 2 cardio. I do it a minimum 3 days a week, though. Minimum. Crucial in terms of bringing positive energy. Action step, create a gratitude list. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. Okay, I do this daily, at least 3 things. Also, great exercise from Jack Canfield. It's called the Rampage of Appreciation, where you take a few minutes and just look around and be grateful for everything you could think of, from the shoes on your feet to my iPhone that I'm working with, and through this my MacBook that I'm recording this on, to having a roof over my head, to having all the great clients I get to serve on a daily, weekly basis, to having the best mom in the world and the best siblings. I'm grateful for Walmart today to go shop there and get some healthy food. I can just go on and on. Okay, I'm grateful for the people who made my shoes that are on my feet today. Rampage of appreciation, ultra powerful nuclear weapon. In terms of speech, again, give sincere, specific praise, give compliments. That's a great way to spread positive energy. Speak positively. Again, another great tool of speaking. No mindless negativity. Now, again, the inversion of this, speak positively, no mindless negativity. Just avoid it. So let's talk about, I'm going to give you a quick 60-second daily workout that you can do. I call it the elevated energy daily workout. 60 seconds or less. This will put you in the top 1% of energizing people that you know. If you do this daily, no excuse not to do it, 60 seconds or less. You can do it while you're driving in your car. You can close your eyes and do it. You can sit down and write these things out on a notepad that I'm going to give you here. But tool number 1 is take one mindful breath. Whatever that is for you. I love in for 4, out for 6. I also love Jason Selk's centering breath, in for 6, hold for 2, out for 7. But there's all kinds of great breath patterns. So take at least one mindful breath, maybe 2 or 3, whatever you need to do. Okay, number 2, and that's how you're going to elevate your presence back to the present moment. In terms of posture, you're going to write down 3 things you did well. And I like to use this framework. I call it the 3 habits: learn, serve, do hard things. So write down 1 thing you've learned in the last 24 hours, 1 person you served, and 1 hard thing you did. Okay, and lastly, in terms of positivity, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Now, again, you can do this when you're driving in your car. Just take that one mindful breath, think about 3 things you did well in the last few hours, and 3 things you're grateful for. Instant elevator of your energy. You can do this if you're about to go in front of a group, or speak to a group, or speak to your team, or do an important one-on-one session with someone. Do it before a job interview. Okay, anytime you need to elevate your energy, use this elevated energy daily workout. Now, lastly, we talked about some books today. I'll tell you them again here: The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox-Cabane, Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Jason Selk, The Confident Mind by Dr. Nate Zinsser, and 7 Rules of Power by Dr. Jeffrey Pfeffer. These are 3 of my favorite books on creating that elevated energy. Okay, I'll give you one more bonus: Success Principles by by Jack Canfield. Absolutely excellent book on success and performance. We talked about a lot today. My challenge to you is just have 2 challenges. 1, give that elevated energy workout a shot. Try it for a week, do it 3 times. My second challenge to you is to pick 1 thing that you learned today and apply it. in terms of elevating your energy where you think you need it the most. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of presence, posture, and positivity. Identify the one that you score the lowest that you want to improve on, and then pick one thing to elevate your energy, for the next 30, 60, 90 days. This will change your life. When you show up with elevated energy, it is a gift that you're giving to your loved ones, your coworkers, your business, but whoever it is, whoever is in your life, you show up with elevated energy, that's a gift, and you can cultivate it every day as described today. Now, if you found this useful, my challenge to you is share it with one person that you think would also find this useful. Please like if you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to get more videos like this. I wish you an elevated life of success, happiness, and positive impact.